Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hardcore Metal Touching Radio Show. I'm Derek Asklar. Mr. Craig Talley's on the line here, and we'll be hosting the show tonight. Kind of open lines tonight. Just kind of going to go with any topic and go along with it, see where it leads us. If you want to call in with some questions, comments, or story of your last hunt, just call in at 352-504-4170, and we'll get you on the air there. I already see Ohio Relic Hunter and Jason on the chat lines there. You can get to that just by going to Spreaker.com, go to Hardcore Metal Touching and click on the comments section. You probably have to be logged in, but it don't cost you nothing, and you can get on chat right there and talk to these guys and see they're waving a hand at us, so waving a hand back at you guys. And just kind of, I've been slammed this week. I mean, I'm looking forward so much, Craig. I'm meeting up with the landowner of that property, the old bridge property, and on Saturday morning. 11 o'clock. I don't think I'm going to get probably any hunting done at all, but you know how that goes. They'll talk your ear off for a while, but trying to get information or whatever, and kind of go with it. But I'm sure I'll be, this guy sounds like he's pretty cool. I've talked to the caretaker of the property many times, and this guy's kind of recluse a little bit or private, so we'll kind of see how it goes. But I know, matter of fact, Craig, I was looking at survey maps of 1951 survey maps, as far back as I can get, and two exactly, because I actually has a GPS locate on the particular maps I'm using, so I can click on one point and then click on another point. It gives me the distance, right? And I say historical aerials is what I'm using. But I ended up finding in 1951, there's a building. In 1954, the building's not there anymore, or a barn, or whatever it is. It looks like a building. It's substantial because they marked it with a black square right there, about 212 feet from the existing cabin, cracker shack, whatever you want to call it. It's further out towards the field. And I don't think it was a barn. They wouldn't have really put that on a survey map as much as they would buildings. So I was looking across the river. I was able to expand out a little bit, and it shows sporadic black squares along that road there. So I'm pretty sure this very well may be an actual home that was there until 1951, 1952 or something like that. But then it was torn down, rotted away. I was actually going through one of the Bibles there that Pauline was going through, and I noticed they talk about, I think she mentioned it too, the Chinese plum farm or grove. And, of course, I didn't see any there, but it doesn't mean they're not there. But I think from this location, from the house itself, I mean, I can't imagine it being more than maybe a couple 100 feet from the house, the way they talk about it. In the margins on that Bible there, they were talking business or something like that. It was some kind of weird stuff. Didn't really understand what they were talking about, but it gave me some clues on, where this Chinese plum grove would have been. And of course that expands out. I'm almost thinking I could find, they had to have a blacksmith there, and no doubt about it. So I'm hoping I can get into some iron over there somewhere. Obviously, where you're getting the most iron is probably where the blacksmith was. And if I can go that route with it, I can plot this thing out. I already got more information than this guy has begun to find over the past 25 years. Because a lot of people don't know where to look at. They look in the basic, search engines, and through the put in their old houses on this property or whatever. They don't really know where to look at. So, us as relic hunters, we know the ropes a lot better. We know where to look at for historical information, that kind of thing. So I've been hitting all those spots. I got a pretty good little file put together for them. And I know there's already a guy hunting arrowheads on that property. Has done it, several times. But he's not like a continuous, like every weekend or anything like that. And he's been doing it for like over 2 years. But they told me, I haven't seen the finds yet he made, but I guess he found a lot of points, a couple hand axes, and it's just basic. It's pretty much, he's not digging anywhere. He's kind of going over the ground, after it rains or what have you, and he's picking them up. a lot of shards and stuff. So I mean, I might even get into a lot of arrowheads and stuff. It's right, the more I look at the photos I took, and I can kind of pick out where that flat was, where Pauline was talking about, where they used to wash their clothes and swim and all that stuff. I found that right off the bat, and I actually thought that was a runoff from the fields, but it's cut so distinctively. It's like a 12-foot drop from where the house is, at least, down to where the little beach area. Now it's all overgrown and stuff, but I figure I can get along the shoreline right there and kind of get down in there. And I don't know what I'll find, because obviously silt buildup and stuff, but the level of the river's also really high at that, in that stage of that era. The river was like 12 to 15 foot higher on a normal day, and now it's really, since they dammed it up and stuff over the years. So I may not have to go that far towards the water. You know what I mean? I'll be able to find the stuff closer to the house, like 20, 25 feet away from the river. Be able to get into some of that stuff. Maybe, who knows, maybe somebody drops something and everything, tools or whatever. I don't even know what I'm going to find, but I may not find nothing at all, but I just can't, doing the math and doing the, what I'm reading and what I'm finding out. I mean, we're talking, I might be able to find some large cent, coins and stuff like that, because that was, it was 1820, 1800s to 1820, somewhere in there. And maybe possibly even earlier. So, with being a toll bridge and everything, I don't know what I'll find. I mean, I might find some cache of coins, whatever. So, I mean, I was kind of trying to keep my ambition or my excitement level kind of even keeled, going there with the right attitude and everything. But, I was talking to the property, overseer of the property and stuff, and just what I kind of showed him halfway, a few of the things, he's like, oh my God, we haven't found anything like that. So I'm kind of really stoked about it. I probably won't get any hunting done on Saturday, but I'll definitely, be taking some more photos and stuff, and I'll put something together. Maybe, put it up on Facebook or whatever. But, other than that, man, I haven't had any time at all. I mean, and it's nothing for me either. That really sucks, helping other people out around here, friends and family and stuff like that. So that's okay. But, I've been dying to get just a detector out there behind my place, where that big, 450, 500 acres is, whatever it is behind me. And just hunting that just because, there's a lake down there and there's stuff like that. So I'm hoping next week I can actually get some detecting done. And, but you've had kind of the same week, but, you'd mentioned a few things before the show. Craig came on like 5 minutes till 8, so we didn't have a lot of time to talk. But Craig, you were telling me about some stuff going on in your neck of the woods there. Why don't you tell them about that a little bit?
Yeah, I live right next to this historic cabin, and I'd met these people that own it during the crawl, which is 150 mile flea market they have every summer, and so they don't come back to this house that much. They just they do tours and stuff, and they'd come back to do a historical society tour that day, about 40 people. But I'd gotten a private tour the first time I'd been in there, and so they were talking. And they mentioned that they heard that some two guys were, metal detecting the yard, and I said, yeah, we met them. And I said, I actually metal detect. And they were kind of like, looking at me at first, but then, I explained I didn't go in the yard. I said I went over there and talked to the guys, and they said they had permission. And I said, oh, really? And I said, well, that's kind of funny because people not around here. And then they admitted that, well, the one guy, it was a complete rookie, never metal detected before. The other guy was a veteran. He sells everything he finds. So,
yep.
Anyway, I could also tell that there wasn't anything in the yard. The yard there was no nail sounds or anything. It was just, and I found out from these people, when I mentioned that yard had been scraped by her father, hoping she was going to build a house there and live there.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, they got kind of interested in, I was telling them all the stuff about, finding stuff, metal detecting, and all the stuff I'd learned and all the stuff I found in the yard. And so they were saying, we'd always thought about doing it, and how much do those things cost? And I said, well, the ones I got are, basically about $1,300 to 15, almost 1,600. And so she goes, oh my God. And I said, well, I said, it's me. It's, I only buy top of the line stuff. I don't fool around with the other stuff.
Yeah.
But I said, I said, I could show you how to do it, and you could use my machines and see if you like it. And it turns out they own 25 acres near the battlefields of Manassas, and so
Sorry.
they showed me pictures of that place. So, but anyway, I'd gotten they actually took me back into some rooms that they don't take people back into during the regular tour, and they had all these showcases and all kinds of artifacts and relics. I mean, they told me they got lockers full of stuff that came with the house that I guess was picked up by the people that lived there after the Civil War. And it just, there was 3 sheds supposedly full of stuff. And so I go in there and I'm looking around. They got like brand new looking bayonets and stuff. The one was a Springfield bayonet. It looked like it almost looked like it was brand new almost. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And but it was so anyway. I'd gotten this map that they had during the crawl. That the map was actually 5 maps, and a guy took 5 maps and he superimposed them all over top of each other, and then wrote in all the different people's names on each house and the date they were there. And he had the battle line that goes up across Reliance Road, and what else? The retreat line that's right down the block from me. Union Army retreated to Front Royal. There's, it's just all kinds of information on there. It shows the quarries and the railroad back then. But anyway, I paid $5, I think, for this map. And after they left, I was sorry I hadn't gotten 2 or 3 more. So I mentioned, I said, something about the maps, and the woman goes, "Oh, we got them here." And so she goes back and she goes, I said, I'd like to get maybe 3, and so she goes, so she gives me this stack, and it's at least 10 or so, and she goes, "Here, just have them, you're looking after our house and stuff, and so we really appreciate it." So I said, "Okay, thanks." I said, "I'm actually, I got a couple friends that want them."
Oh yeah.
And so I said, plus it's a cool looking map, So
I love maps, man. Maps are, if you can find in, the older, even the survey or the topo maps, man, if you can kind of spot a few things on them, it kind of give you a starting point or well, like what I did over there, I found that dot on the map or a square on the map, and I know nobody's really seen it because they're not, these guys aren't pulling up historical aerials or anything like that. I don't see it on any local maps at all, even from the, like 1960s. I don't see anything. Now I do have a photo of the bridge being up, and it shows it in the aerial photo in 1951 of the bridge being up on the property over here. But like I said, by I think it's 53, 54, something like that, the next survey map came out, and the bridge is gone, or aerial photo, the bridge is gone. It's not there anymore. And I never did see an actual home or anything in that area, but on the survey map, the topo map, whatever, it does show it. But yeah, the regular aerial photo shows the bridge. I may put that up on, up on one of our Facebook pages or something like that. But yeah, maps are cool, man. You're going to be able to find. Just how old are they, Craig? About, you think, the maps you got?
Well, probably the oldest ones date back probably early 1800s. And then they had one that looked like it was around. Well, some of the stuff looked like it was from around 1840s, 1850s, and then they had, of course, the Civil War era from basically from about 1861 to 64. They were in this area. But let's see what else. And then they got the modern streets and stuff, overlaid like they are right now. So, but
yeah,
used to. There didn't used to be Route 11 for a long time until they put 81. 81 goes right parallel to 11. It's about maybe a half a mile from my house. We can't hear it. We can't hear the traffic, but I can imagine the people living right on the edge of that highway. It's just so many. I went up to Winchester the other day. There was so many trucks. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Roaring up there.
I'll tell you, we've had so much traffic lately. Even in our neighborhood, I'm like, what the heck is going on? We got dump trucks rolling through and excavators, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? They're building again. Oh, they tore down. I missed it again, Craig. Right in town, right by our courthouse, there was a barber shop, a pool. Well, these used to be like gas stations and stuff. They just took out the entire corner. I think it was about 7 buildings, different sizes and stuff. It just wiped them out. All it is an empty lot now, and they got it all fenced off. So I just done lost a spot to hunt. Didn't even know about they were going to tear. They had it torn down in like 2 days. It was done. I'm like, God dang, I couldn't get in there. But yeah, I hate these places. They're taking all my spots away. So. But yeah, they just leveled it. They took everything out of there. Nothing. They didn't leave anything at all. I thought for sure they'd leave the one building because it was an old school, like maybe 1930s kind of gas station looking place. And I just thought it was a really cool looking building. It had been a pool, supply place. It's been so many things, but they went in there. They just demolished the whole thing, just leveled it and scraped it, and it's done. They dug the dirt out of there and put fill dirt in. I wish I knew where they were taking this dang dirt, man. I know there has to be a ton of stuff right there because it's right next to the courthouse, like within about maybe 25 yards, 30 yards from the courthouse. So it's less than a block, put it that way. So yeah, I'm like frustrated. That's like 6 different spots I used to hunt all the time or been around all the time, and it's gone. But I'm fine. I got this place out here. I figured I'll be hunting that for 10 years. The way that, as big as it is, hunting it thorough, you'd be there forever. About like your neighborhood, if you get some more permissions, you'll be hunting for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Working on a couple more, but some of them are. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the one across the street eventually, but yeah.
We'll
see. But the guys actually come over a couple times, asking me questions and stuff, and so
well,
I got it in his head, because I said, look at all the stuff I found in here. I said, your yard has probably got even more as far as it goes back a lot further, as far as they had a cabin, and the house itself is 1800.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff there, I'm sure.
Yeah, so, and it was a blacksmith shop too.
Yeah,
so it's got to be all kinds of iron and stuff in the ground.
Yeah, I don't know what, I know they made nails. They made everything out of iron. I was watching on one show, and that's all they made was nails, so they could build buildings, or whatever. You might run into a whole bunch of neat stuff, and because I know they probably didn't have any real floors, probably just dirt floor. they dropped something was too hot. They left it there, forgot about it, or whatever. If it's smaller, you never know what you might get yourself into.
Or it cracked or something, or
Right.
broke, or they just tossed it. But who knows that?
Or even the
Probably,
tools, man.
you know.
You drop tools. I drop tools all the time. I found a wrench out in the yard. I'm like, what the heck is this doing out here? And I remember I was pulling that stump out of the ground with a dually, and I had my tailgate open. I got another strap out of the tailgate. I didn't even worry about closing it, and I yanked on that thing, and it jarred it pretty good, and my tools flew out of the back of the truck, and I found my wrench the other day, just walking around like, wow, man, it's ruined. But that's Craftsman, so I can clean it up. But blacksmith probably no different. Mess up a piece and throw his hammer, and no, I can't find it. Well, not everybody's like me. When I mess up something, usually something's flying through the air, so you just got to duck when you're around me. And my neighbor, he's probably listening to the show. I think he figured out why you don't drink a lot of beer in Florida in the summertime in the sun. He came over to hang out with me yesterday, and we're sitting on the porch to have a couple beers, just, gabbing, because I've been, like I said, running around so much, I haven't been home. And he stood up, and he had to stay on my porch for about 2 hours. He goes, I can't believe this. I had 4 beers and I'm under the table. I told you. I warned him. I said, this Florida heat, man, it's like 90 degrees and humidity, and you can't, if you're not used to it, man, you can't sit down here and drink beer like crazy. I see a lot of the guys come down to go fishing, from up north, come down here and out in the Gulf of Mexico or whatever. No, they always want to drink beer, man. They drink 2 or 3 beers and they're about under the table, and here I am over here just fine, drinking 5 or 6 beers, so hey, it's comical. He goes, I'm sorry, man. I didn't, you're probably gonna think I'm a drunk. I said, I know you had 4 beers. That's it. But I said, don't try to keep up with the big dog now. I'll drink you under the table. And he started laughing. I'm just joking with him, but this heat down here, man, I tell you, it's like a sauna yesterday. I just, I was working outside trying to get some stuff unloaded out of the trucks and moving stuff around, and he saw me. He said, man, every time I see you, you're in a different T-shirt. And I said, well, my rule is if you get sweating so bad and it starts feeling like somebody dumped a bucket of water on you, it's time to take a break, or you'll get heat stroke or whatever. And I've had that before, and it's not a fun experience when you start losing your your balance, and you're getting pretty much passing out essentially. So I get to that point, and I'll switch, just take the T-shirt off and hang it up on the hook there by the house, by the door, and grab another T-shirt and sit down and have something to drink and get back out there and doing whatever I'm doing. I do the same thing when I'm out metal detecting. I mean, you guys going out, if you're in a really humid, hot environment anywhere down south in the summer, man, you got to be real careful, man. You can, I've seen guys flat out pass out. I mean, and then just be totally out. If you don't have somebody with you, man, it's a pretty dangerous situation. But, so I got some water into them, this guy's with some water and stuff like that. And he goes, man, you're a good host. Most people would have run me off probably. So, well, I can't run you off. I can't drag you off my property. You're too damn. He's like 6'2". He's a big guy. so you just stay here till you get your brain straight. So that was a 1 hour or 2 hour visit turned out to be like 4 hours. So I didn't get nothing done yesterday afternoon. So that sun will tear you up, though. Yeah. I don't know how bad is it up there right now? Is it probably just 80 degrees or so, something like that?
Yeah, high 80s, mid 80s, and I got a little bit of a sunburn on my head the other day, face.
Yeah.
But
you didn't have your brain bucket on, or your bandana.
Well, I was sitting there talking to this guy for a couple hours, and didn't realize I, was right in the middle of the sun the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually been nice the last couple of days, and
it's been miserable.
Finally.
Well, not miserable, but it's just like it wants to rain. You'll hear thunder. You'll see the clouds come in and then they roll out. But that humidity level, man, I tell you, it's just stinking hot, And I'm used to it. I've been down here for many years, but I can get out there and work, and a lot of my neighbors are, from like Michigan or New Jersey or whatever. And they're like, how can you even possibly? I go out there 1 hour and I'm done. I can't even work the rest of the day. And you're out there for 6 to 7 hours, and I'm waiting to see you laying on the ground dead. I said, heaven don't want me that fast. So, that's the easy way out, right? So I get out there working.
I worked at tennis camp, and we had, it was in the July and August in Virginia, which is, we got a lot of humidity, and usually was, down there it was probably in the 90s a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we had these kids from Sweden come, and within about 2 or 3 hours, they were in distress. They couldn't function.
Oh,
yeah. They were hurting bad, and
it can kill you. It can kill. It's killed many people. That heat will shoot.
And
be careful.
They didn't last. They lasted basically. They were coming a half a day. They'd come in the morning until about 11:30, and they'd be done.
Right.
But they were, and then we had another guy that was actually ran a tennis club in South Africa. He had his own club down there, and real cool guy. And so he was the same thing, and he was looking at me, and he goes, you don't even look like this is, and I said, look, I lived here all my life, this isn't, I don't, I'm just used to it. It doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah.
And
see, now what? I'm up there up north with you. When I was up there a year or so ago, whatever it was, it wasn't too bad. It was still cool in the morning, but it's a different kind of, you got, well, you're close to the ocean, yeah, but I mean, it seems like it's a dry heat up there. I know it is over in Indiana. It got so hot in Indiana when I was up there, I just wasn't sweating. That sweat helps you out a little bit, cools your body down. And
what? We got super high humidity.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Well, up here it's not quite as bad. We're up at higher elevation too, but we don't seem to. We're kind of like in the foothills, the valley, the mountains, but it's quite different weather patterns and stuff. You can see, seems like the mountains kind of funnel the clouds. I don't know. It's kind of weird the way the clouds do. And sometimes there's two different sets of clouds. One is going over top of the other one in a different direction.
Yeah, it's strange. I'll watch the weather or the clouds over here, and you'll see them it's like the bottom layer is blowing south, the top layer is blowing north. The clouds are going that way, whatever, and it just weird. I mean, even my neighbor, he was telling me, he was asking me all kinds of questions. He just moved down here not even 6 months ago, something like that, and he's got all these weird critters around. He doesn't know what stuff is, and he was moving these big old grasshoppers. They're Georgia thumpers is what they are. The big old monstrous grasshopper, locust, whatever they are. But they're black with a red stripe on them and black with a yellow stripe on them. And then he goes, I'm seeing red, I think he said red glowing things in the air. And I kind of thought he was nuts because I hadn't seen one in a long time, but they're actually some kind of a offshoot of a firefly. But they don't glow the yellowish green or whatever. They glow red. And he goes, I thought there was eyes looking at me and everything.
We just started seeing fireflies probably in another week or so. That it's like they get up real high up in the trees, and it's there's like thousands of them blinking at the same time. It looks like it's just unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. We got these huge trees in our yard all around, and probably got 50 fairly big trees in the yard. But it's just this one tree, man. It was probably one of the highest ones we got, and that one is just there was so many. They were all mostly from about 3/4 up all the way to the top. They weren't down low, but it's just amazing.
Oh yeah, he was telling me, he says, he's kind of like a tree hugger hippie kind of he does, pick up the little rabbit and put it over here, get the groundhog, whatever. Just, he's real about nature, and that's all cool. But, and he was telling me, he called me on, or, first he texted me, I just called him back, and he says, man, he goes, I just saw the biggest spider in my life. I said, it was probably a brown recluse or whatever, wood spider, whatever you want to call them. And he goes, no, you don't understand. This thing was bigger than my hand with his leg span. I said, I told you, buddy, there's some big old spiders in here, down here. He goes, that was like a tarantula. I said, no, man, but they'll mess you up. He was telling me, oh, those are the bad ones. I said, yeah, they'll bite you. And I gotten bitten in the arm, and there's like an eraser on a pencil. It's that wide and about half the size of an eraser deep. These things are pretty vicious. They actually, you're going to have a scar, put it that way, but you won't even feel the bite. Never felt the bite once. And I've been bit twice by them, and didn't even know it. I do a lot of scrap metal and stuff like that a lot of times where I was, and or cleaning out somebody's old barn or something like that. These doggone things, man, I tell you, they're intimidating. I used to not bother with them, but now I have a 10-foot rule. It's done if it's near me. Then he saw a snake, and he was asking me all about the snakes and stuff. I said, man, there's more poisonous stuff down here than a lot of places. I said, but it usually don't bother you. Every once in a while. I mean, we got, like the black widows and stuff like that. We got that kind of stuff down here. But just, usually if you don't mess with it, it ain't going to get you. But then he calls me and said he saw, but, any of you guys live down here know what a banana spider is. And they're black and yellow, and they look like some kind of ancient, armored spider is what it looks like. But they're harmless. They're not going to, bite the heck out of you or nothing like that. They'd sooner get away from you. But these things could get, about half the size of your hand. And you'll see them in the middle of a woods or something. There'll just be a cobweb up there and this big black and yellow, spider right there, and it looks intimidating. And he saw one of those and freaked out a little bit. I just told him, I said, it more than likely you can get bothered. So if you see a rattlesnake, kill it. If you see a pygmy rattler, kill it. If you see a moccasin, kill it. But anything else, pretty much leave it. He goes, even coral snakes? I said, yeah, leave the coral snakes. They don't bother you. I mean, unless you, mess with them. Usually they sooner get away from you. But, we saw the couple rabbits. We finally have a rabbit that hangs out now. It's a wild rabbit. I haven't seen one in this neighborhood in years. I don't know what, because we have a lot of coyotes and stuff, and they'll eat them up. And we're seeing more wildlife than we ever have. I mean, I don't know where it's coming from, if it's coming from Bushnell or if it's coming from Hernando County, but it seems like everything congregating right here, because we have the state forest, maybe, 5 miles from us. And I think everything's working its way over there, but I'm seeing all kinds of critters, birds. And he says, what's up with these birds down here? You'll be in the middle of the night and it sounds like monkeys in the trees or something like that. They're so loud. I said, yeah. I said, they're coming to get you, buddy. I got to mess with them a little bit. I told him, I said, I got to mess with you Yankees. He goes, well, that's not right. And I said, well, I'm a Yankee, so that gives me permission to call you one. So I was born up north, but I didn't waste no time getting south. So it's been pretty comical with him, but he sees us out there doing stuff or, fixing something up. And this guy's, he's pretty cool. He does blacksmithing. He does, making canes, out of cypress and cedar and stuff like that, real fancy ones and stuff with all the engravings in them. The guy has a lot of talent. But yeah, it's pretty funny. Pauline was just laughing her ass off about it. She, because she was up at the post at the time. I said, well, I got company. He hasn't left yet. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, he's on the porch. I think he's half passed out. I don't know. She goes, let me rephrase that. He'll never drink beer with Willie again. If you ever heard that song about smoking weed with Willie, that's what she's saying about him. Never drink beer with Derek again. So I can't help him, man. I have a high tolerance for most of this stuff, but I drank 7 beers. I was up and around, and everything else. I called his wife, said, "Hey, don't worry about him. He's here. Come over, get him if you want to. If you think you can move him." She goes, "No, he's all right there as long as he's okay." I said, "Yeah, he's fine." I don't think she was real impressed, but I probably not going to be able to hang out with me anymore. I think is what's going to happen. She's going to say, "No, he's a bad influence." I feel like a teenager again. So, God. At any rate, yeah. So you got those maps and stuff from her. I mean, are they going to let you hunt that property, or you think, or?
I don't know. We'll see. But most of the yard is, the whole backyard. I could tell it was just, there's nothing there, and they said it had been scraped.
Yeah.
And so
Where'd they
my
put
yard is so noisy, it's unbelievable. And I just, I'd always figured that yard would probably be the same, but it probably was, until they scraped it all out.
It's nothing there. No piles of dirt anywhere, or like pushed to the property lines or anything.
Around the one property line, you can see where it's been scraped up the hill.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah. And there's like some kind of business there. They got like, heavy trucks and stuff that they don't make any noise. I don't know what they do, but got big bays, doors and stuff, but big fence around. So I don't know what they're really doing there, but some kind of business there, but next to it. But there's like a huge bank that goes up, and then you can see where it's just panned out, and there's the original privy is still there with the wooden structure.
Right. Oh, that's kind of neat. There'll be a lot of stuff around
yeah.
that too.
I was telling her about all the bottles, we'd found. So she walks me back and opens this cabinet, and there's all kinds of little bottles and stuff. And it wasn't nearly as many as Mike's found. He's over 70 bottles now.
He's a bottle hunting fool, buddy. I'll tell you, that's a good guy to have around. You'll find the bottles.
Yeah. We popped about 3 in the last week. I got one, and I just, got a signal, and bottle popped out of the ground with the signal.
Yeah.
But he got one the other day, and I can't remember the name on it, but it was a glass baby bottle from 1940, I believe.
Yeah.
And it had a rubber nipple on the top of it, and it's small. I mean, it's maybe 3.5 inches tall. Maybe not even that. But and it has little marks in it for how much you put inside of it. And anyway, on eBay, I think it was on eBay or Amazon, they were going for $25.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. We'd find stuff, we have no idea what it is, and then like the lady next door, and he found this bottle called the 3 C's, and then it said, it said the drink of the gods, and something about nectar of the gods, or something like that.
Nectar of the gods, good as his mother's milk.
So anyway, the lady next door that we've known for years, she researched it and printed us out a whole thing on it, and it was they had 3 different types of citrus type flavors in it, I guess.
Well, Bill Marsh is asking, he's saying to ask you if it was a Claps bottle. I don't know.
Clap?
CLAPPS, Claps. I don't know if that's what he's asking.
No,
and was it brown? That's what he was asking.
No, it was clear.
Clear, okay.
Yeah, and it was it was kind of like a cut glass, sort of, almost like a Coke bottle, probably from the 1920s, maybe a little bit earlier, right around that era. We got a couple Coke bottles, one from Hagerstown, I think it was, at Maryland, that it's just, it's kind of like squared off, cut, rounded and squared, and it's just, you could drop this thing on the concrete and it probably wouldn't break. It's so, it's so massive. It's a massive bottle for a Coke bottle.
Oh,
I got about 3 like that, 3 or 4 like that. I got a soda bottle. It just says soda, but then when you turn it over on the bottom, it says Coke on the bottom, I think it was.
Yeah. Bill's saying that he dug one of those baby bottles. It was from 1940s also, and it was a Claps, like clapping your hands, Claps baby bottle. But I guess his was
That
brownish color.
yeah, that might be the name of it because Mike looked it up. I didn't look it up. He
Yeah.
said it was the name on it.
Could
So,
be. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't metal detected or anything like that, but I actually went on. Pauline told me one of the ladies up there, husband, ex-husband, or something's moving up to South Carolina, and he's just giving everything away, just getting rid of it. And they kind of they there's a lot of stuff in the place. When I went over there on last Wednesday and loaded up my trailer and my truck with just tools and this and just giving it away. I said, okay. Well, it was mostly paint and doors, brand new paint 5-gallon buckets and stuff like that, and roof sealer. All this stuff was brand new storm doors, brand new doors. He was a contractor, and he said, just get it out of here. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to move it. I don't want to call anybody, to pay somebody to haul it off. So just take it. So I got all the stuff, and I stopped by the post, and a lot of the guys, they're doing different projects or whatever. So I was able to get rid of a lot of it. It was brand new stuff. And dang, doors are $300 a piece now. So, they were pretty happy about it, and I got a few things too. Well, I went back there on Tuesday, and they said they had some clothes and some books. Man, I'm thinking to myself, great, clothes and books. And Pauline says, hey, you said you'd go and get it. I said, all right. So I went and got it. Lo and behold, I have about 9 or 10 Civil War books, old ones, not Civil War era, but about the Civil War. I'll take some photos of them, put them on the Facebook page, I think. But there's actually, and I didn't look into it a lot, but there's actually maps tucked into these books, and I don't know if they're legit yet or not. I just haven't had time to even open them up. But I got, I think there's about 9 or 10 books, anyways, from Civil War and era and weaponry, and I think there's even a button book out there too. It may have been one of the old button catalogs you were telling me about, Craig. But this guy he had a lot of books, but they were all good ones. Stuff from the United States Marine Corps, all, leather bound and everything. So, I loaded them up in the truck and I had 4 garbage bags full of clothes, but then he started saying, well, you could take anything in the garage you want. We're talking 14-foot long extension ladders and everything. And I was just grabbing boxes. He just told me to load the boxes up. So it was like a treasure hunt in these boxes, and coins from, and they're probably not worth, I don't know what they're worth, but there was these coin books with like NRA, and, commemorative coins just in these little cases. And they're all, I'll take pictures of, maybe one of you guys want to, you guys collect any of that stuff, like NRA, old NRA stuff. I think you have old buttons. I have a ton of these DVDs from that are all labeled out. The NRA sponsored these videos and stuff. If you guys are interested in some of that stuff, just message me or email me, and I'll send you up some, or I'll get some photos of them. I know a lot of you guys read a lot of this stuff, and Civil War books and stuff. And once I read them, I don't keep them, because unless they're just really, really good, usually I'll just, gift them on to somebody else that's into the hobby. Kind of what Mark Hoover does. Mark comes across a lot of these Civil War books and Revolutionary War books and stuff at, antique shops or whatever, and they just want to get rid of them because they don't know what they have. And, so I ended up with that. I ended up with it looks like from 1920s, a silver-plated baby cup. It has ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, but on it. But it's about maybe 2 ounces, 3 ounces cup. It's all metal. It's all silver plated, and just a lot of weird stuff in there. Just little, odd stuff. I don't even know what it is, but I kept a lot of it. A lot of the stuff we sell it at like a flea market and then donate the money to the VFW, the auxiliary part of it, and then we do that. Just like our donation or whatever. But I ended up with so much stuff, Craig. I spent in just about, 7 or 8 hours unloading and putting stuff away and putting it in, for when we go to the flea market, we have a trailer just for that, and I'll just, load the stuff in there, and we just sell the stuff. Whatever we can get out of it. I don't care if it's $1 or $2, whatever, just get rid of it. And, we donate the money back. But that's what we do, just to, giving cash and stuff, I don't have a lot of that to spare. So if I can do something, make a little bit of money or help them out, that's the way I do my, kind of helping out, donating my time and stuff. So, but yeah, I ended up with all kinds of cool stuff. And, of course, I don't have any room for it, so I couldn't keep a lot of it. But I did keep the Civil War books and, the coins and stuff like that, just until I find out what they are. But they're all, I think two of the books they're all like mint. There's not a mark on them. I mean, it's like, and it's got to be, somebody has to collect that kind of stuff. I don't think I even want any money out of it. I just, if somebody collects them, let me know, man. It's all NRA commemorative coins and stuff like that. I don't even know if they're, well, God only knows. This day and age, like you said, a baby bottle, $35 or whatever you said,
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, one person's junk or whatever. But this guy had tons of stuff. It was a 2-story house. He had all kinds of. I didn't even take some stuff I couldn't even load, Craig, like concrete block cutters. The grind. Like a saw blade, but
Yeah.
chop saws, stuff like that. 12 wheelbarrows, but not one of them had a good wheel on it. Some of them were rotted, some of them weren't. I'm like, oh my God, you got tons of stuff here, man. He goes, I'm going to call the scrap guy, and he's going to come and load everything up. So take whatever you want. And I'm like, God. But yeah. So that was my treasure hunt for the week, I guess you could say. But that could be fun. I love digging through old boxes and going through barns and stuff anyways. And you find a lot of cool stuff in there. So at least I got my treasure hunting out of the way for at least this week anyway. Even though it was work. I just can't wait till this weekend. It's driving me crazy. I told Pauline I'm probably going to leave at 11. I'll see you sometime Monday morning. I'll just camp out there. Yeah, with these spots you're up there now, up there where you're at, are there any smaller towns around you at all, or is this kind of like the only town?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know if you'd done any research on those.
I live in the smallest town, but like 4 or 5 miles away is Strasburg. That's south of us.
Mm-hmm.
North of us is Stephen City, and then Winchester, which is fairly big town.
Right.
More of a city. That's a city actually.
Yeah.
And the other day we were looking at the map. Following Route 11 goes quite a ways, and kind of opened up the whole part of Southern Virginia when they put it in the 1830s and 40s, I believe. But but anyway, it goes all the way into Maryland, and so I was looking at it, and it went right through Williamsport, Maryland, and that's where Aquachigger's from.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he is, isn't he?
So I said, "Oh, wait a minute." So we were looking around, and he was like right between like major rivers and stuff, and so I said, "No wonder he's finding all that stuff. He's right on that area."
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm trying to remember what I saw. I'm not going to mention his name or nothing, but he was on Digfellas. I saw him in a video. I think it was a video. Maybe it was on TV, a documentary or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember all of it, but I was shocked. It was some other show. It was more about discovering stuff and stuff. They had him on there. I can't. I shouldn't even mentioned it. I can't remember the name of the show or nothing like that. But I meant to write it down because I was going to tell you about it. But I think I saw Aquachigger came out with a new video, didn't he? Was it him that I was watching?
he comes out with one just about every day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
he does a lot of like caving ones and
little everything,
showing different products and stuff like that. Because right now the river is supposedly up about 10 feet, or 12 feet or something.
Yeah,
and I'm going, yeah, that's for sure, because you ought to see the creek down there in Moss. God, it's almost up to the top of the bank.
So much rain, so much.
Yeah.
Rain. Yeah, he
But
does some good
thinking,
videos.
man,
I like watching him.
When you get a drought, you can go back down there and might find some arrowheads and stuff, because I've heard people found all kinds of arrowheads and stuff over the years in that creek.
Well, you got a high river like that, or streams, when they recede down, it's done washed out the sides of the banks a little bit. So, yeah, you probably find all kinds of goodies down through there, I would think. Uh, I know that. I find, well, you know that you find a lot of bottle dumps right near the river too. I've seen some videos. These guys just digging bottle after bottle after bottle out the side walls of the the creeks and
Yeah,
rivers.
it's weird. We got the Shenandoah River real close by, but it's like a snake. It goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's the North Fork and the South Fork, and then there's just the regular one, and then it's got the two forks. But I mean, anyway. Mike's a fisherman, and he's been trying to find a place to, fish for bass, and
Right.
all the creeks, all the rivers are real low. I mean, they're just, they're shallow,
Right.
real rocky and shallow.
Yeah, Robert was asking me about the river out where the bridge is, or where the bridge was, and you know, if you'd asked me that 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I could tell you that it was probably only maybe calf deep in some areas right through there. It may be the center of the channel through there might be 8 foot, but I can remember a time, 10 or 12 years ago where you could walk across the river. You just walk across it, not even get your knees wet. So it may not be that deep. It may be deeper right there. I'm thinking it is, only because they used to bring the river boats through there, or the river barges and stuff. So it could be, 10, 12 foot deep towards the center part of it, but the edges, I can see the bottom. It looks maybe 2 foot deep. The only thing I run into down here is we're right, it's in the summertime, and the gators are real active, and the snakes, moccasins, stuff like that are more active. Maybe it's just me being paranoid. I'm a big, piece of prime rib to them. So, I mean, but, the kids, they jump off the bridges down, like a mile down from there where the bridge is across the state road there. They'll get up on that bridge and they'll jump off the bridge. They have rope swings and everything else out there. You see, I mean, if there's not 10 or 12 kids out there jumping off that bridge, but we never had, knock on wood, and I hope they never do, have a gator attack right there. But I've seen, 8 to 10 footers going by there all the time. We'll go over to the restaurant there, that River Rats restaurant, and you'll see them just kind of floating by or whatever. I actually pulled up a video where they got right across. Actually, it's our boat ramp for our community or whatever is right there. It's kind of rustic, but they were shooting a video of the airboat. The guy was backing his airboat in with like a Ford Ranger pickup truck, and got stuck. And they actually had to they hooked the 4-wheel drive to the Ford pickup truck, and was pulling it and still couldn't get it out. So the guy fired up the airboat, and he pushed everybody. It was still on the trailer too, Craig. He just fired up the airboat, full blast, and the guy was pulling, and they finally got the airboat out. They made a video on that. Saw that. It was pretty funny looking. I saw another one. Those airboat videos are pretty funny, I think. But, I don't know. I told Pauline, I said, we need to get one of those, and she wants a pontoon boat and stuff. I just want to get that so I can get into there's small islands, and there's places you can get to with those airboats that nobody's ever going to get to on foot. You can't get to them unless you're going to cross a swamp or whatever. But there was activity there. Whether it's Indian activity or whatever else, any high ground, with a water supply nearby, that was probably, sometime or another was somebody there. And I was telling her, man, I really, would love to get into some of these, little paddocks or these little areas, little islands, and hit them, and hunt those. I mean, I think we had. Who was it? Mike Miller was talking about that. I think the last time he was on, these guys would go out there on those sandbars, where you always see all the fancy boats and stuff, and they always hang out there near the sandbars. And he was out there metal detecting, found a bunch of stuff. And
Aquaticker was going out with a guy, I think down in South Carolina, and they were going out to all these little islands,
mm-hmm.
and there was the home sites on the islands and stuff. Like some of them, I think he researched, there was like little fishing villages and stuff on there.
Hmm.
But they found, I think they found flat buttons, and I think one guy got a piece of Spanish silver and stuff like that. So you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
South Carolina, they find a lot of cool stuff down there. They
Well,
found a lot of colonial stuff.
some of you guys that live in Tennessee and Kentucky, especially, I just watched a thing on bourbon whiskey. It was a documentary. Just flipped it on, and I was sitting there watching. And they went out there, and they're actually going out to document old stills. Like old companies. I guess back, Craig, you might know more about this than me, but I know back when after Prohibition ended, and then of course, in that time frame, a lot of the whiskey distillers and stuff like that, they went out of business. And I guess when it started finally coming back and everything, and even in the 1960s, they were talking about everybody in the 1960s went to like vodka and clear liquor, and then I guess they tried to make, clear whiskey, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, moonshine is what it amounted to. But people didn't like dark liquor at that time. So a lot of companies went out of business then too. But these guys are going out and actually, finding these, marking them out, and keeping records, almost like an archaeological dig. But they're using metal detectors and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty neat. They're finding, who knows what you might find there, but they were using charcoal to distill instead of wood, to get the fire, whatever, going and stuff like that. But and some of these are huge places, some of them are small. But I thought that'd be really neat to hunt an area like that if you know where, because you can hardly see them. You almost have to, know what you're looking for. But it shows activity and everything. But a lot of neat relics might be found there, tools and stuff like that, and copper stuff, and oh, God only knows what you'd find. But yeah, the distilleries. I mean, there used to be a lot of distilleries, and back when, and a lot of them closed down because, well, they weren't making any money for a while there, and now they're, these people are going back. They own their own distilleries, and they're actually going there looking for stuff they can put in their bars or whatever you want to call them, so they, for relics, for wall art and this and that and the other thing. Kind of like, when Mark Hoover went up to out west somewhere or another, and he found that 12-foot long saw blade. I don't know if you remember that show or not, Craig. It's been a little while, last year or something like that.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember that.
These old sawmills, turpentine plants, or whatever you want to call them, from the late 1800s, early 1900s. You find a lot of stuff. The workers who were there, they had to stop and eat lunch once in a while, anyway. They'd hang out certain spots, and of course, I was finding V nickels and nothing great, Indian head pennies and stuff. But to me, they're pretty. I love finding Indian heads, but there's activity there. These picnic groves. A lot of people talk about picnic groves. They've talked about that for years. Dick Strauss would talk about picnic groves and stuff in his books, and they're still around. I mean, I know I haven't been able to locate it yet, but there was one here in my town. It's just west of town. Says that in the old newspapers they're gathering for a church picnic or whatever, and that was the area they went to. And I can't seem to find the silly thing, or it's on private property and I can't get to it. But yeah, I mean, those old grove areas where people gathered. Maybe there was an old church there. Well, a lot of times they do church picnics, stuff like that. I found so much stuff at the Baptist church property. I mean, it just, and I still am. I mean, Mark and Mike came over here, and they found stuff there, around a couple rings and mercury dimes and everything else. But there's a lot of stuff in these areas. Even a dirt parking lot, it may be a pain in the butt sometimes. Hang on a second. The heck is that? Something growling over there. It's not my dog. Hang on a second, guys. I got to see what this is. Oh, never mind, guys. Sorry, it was the other dog. I got a little dog, too, but he's over there growling. I couldn't figure out. I didn't see him. He was hiding underneath the blanket. I thought I had a critter in my house for a minute there. But, yeah, these old dirt parking lots. I mean, if you still have one of those in your town, hunt it. Get a small coil on there and hunt the hell out of it, because you're going to find some cool stuff. I found some of my best relics in this town, anyways, right in those kind of parking lots. And they're hard to dig, and the ground is packed tight and everything. But if you can kind of work your way through there and have a little bit of patience, maybe not hunt it for a long time, but hunt for an hour or so and then move on somewhere else. But if you can stick it out and work your way through the trash, the old beer cans, this and that, and the other thing, they're very productive sites. I've had a couple guys out here and in the past, and they said, I can't hunt here, and they walked away. They drove to another spot. But Mike and Mark, they're pretty much all with it, man. They got right in there and started hunting, and they found stuff. So it's don't let a trashy site turn you. Go there, hunt for a while. If you start getting frustrated, we'll move on to somewhere else. But always come back to it, because you're going to figure out some settings that are going to work for you. And you're going to be more selective, I think, on what you dig. But Craig's done it in his yard. You dig out one target, there's 10 more in the bottom. It may be iron and pieces of brass or whatever else, but you're going to have, if it's that trashy, there's going to be a lot of stuff in that hole. And that's what I found.
I got one where I kept getting this good signal, and I dug probably 4 or 5 inches, and there was a flat button. And so I went back over the hole, and I got like another signal that sounded scratchy in one direction, but it was repeatable, but it was real good in the other direction. And I dig straight down the hole, and there's a perfect 3-ringer.
Oh, jeez.
Right underneath of it. I mean, right underneath of it. And so I was like, that's pretty cool.
I can't wait till they come up with a detector that you can actually get through another piece of metal, or like tin or a beer can or whatever, something's underneath it. Sure would be nice if they'd come up with something like that, but that's kind of far-fetched right now, I think. Now, we can get through hot rocks pretty good.
I think it's kind of impossible with
yeah.
It just wouldn't. The metal is going to block the signal, no matter what kind of metal it is, and so probably iron would be different, but or not, maybe rusty iron.
Yeah.
But
well, it's like the beer can thing we used to do with the bliss tool. Knock out aluminum altogether and beat the coil on and everything. It doesn't even make a peep, but you can get a quarter or a dime or a piece of silver or whatever else around it, or right on top of it even. But you put it underneath, you can't get through the stupid thing. It'd be so cool if you could, though. Believe me, I tried to make that machine do it. It's just impossible for right now, anyway. But yeah, trying to get through that aluminum to get something underneath it. So you almost have to dig it out of the way if you can do it with, say, because it's probably masking up a bunch of stuff. But don't let it be deterring. If you're finding a lot of big metal, man, work your way around it. Work your way out from it, anyways. I find a lot of cool metal items, anyways. So, figure anything that from period, whatever 1920s, whatever before that, it's all relics. We're talking 100 years old anyway. So, I hear your cat, Craig. He's hungry again.
He doesn't like it that I'm not paying attention to him. So he's talking. Plus, he wants treats.
Yeah. You got to give him a miniature little cat headset and let him talk to us.
He's got a whole big thing of food right next to his treat bowl, but he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that regular food. Oh, now he's getting ready to get it.
There you go. Yeah, he wants to be. He doesn't want to be famous anymore.
There's these treats called Temptations for cats, and little crunchy things, and I call them crack for cats.
Yeah, crack.
It's like
cat crack.
Every cat loves those things, and you can shake the box or the bag, and the cats will be coming running from a mile away if they hear that sound.
I just sitting there. The animals are weird, man. I tell you. These dogs sometimes I don't know what the heck dogs have really good hearing anyways, but damn Loki will charge out of here like a crazy hellhound out this door, like he is going to eat somebody up. And I'll kind of follow him out. I mean, especially when you're talking like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll run out there and he's standing in the middle of the yard looking somewhere. I don't see a doggone thing. I don't hear nothing. and he is just growling and just snarling and everything else. And I figured out what it was the other day. It was doggone hogs were coming up the road, or up the road, not our dead end road, but the other road there. And he was just jumping at the fence and everything else. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, he's gonna try to jump the fence. He probably could do it no problem, but it's only a 5-foot fence, and he's about 100 pounds, but he's solid muscle. And I just kind of call him. He listens to me pretty good now, but and I had him sitting there, and he starts howling at him and everything. It's like a wolf or something like that. I don't know what he was thinking, but anyway, the funniest thing is watching the little dog go out there like he's going to tear somebody up, but he's just a little chihuahua. So, my God, man, that cat's loud.
I was looking up. It turns out this cat's got mostly English short hair in it, so
right.
It's got kind of unusual face and stuff. It's kind of wider than most cats.
Mm-hmm.
And, but anyway, I was looking at the different characteristics of the breed, and one of them was either some people say they don't talk at all, or the most vocal cat they've ever heard. And he talks constantly. It's like just comes up, and he's got like all kinds of weird little grunts and squeaks and trills and all kinds of weird. I've never had a cat that had was this vocal before.
Yeah.
But that and the other one was, they said if the cat won't let you pick him up, it's probably a English short hair. And he will not let me. I can pet him. He loves to be petted. Sits on the arm of my chair, on the back of my chair.
Yeah.
Sleeps with me sometimes, but he, you can't pick him up. He just doesn't allow it.
I guess Robert has to take off. Robert Walgas, man. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Catch it on the replay there. He has to take off. He's heading to got delivery down in Miami in the morning, I guess. So, yeah, that's fun. Go to the Glades truck stop, brother. Don't go any farther in. I don't trust Miami, Craig. Jeez. I like Miami. Just don't know. Never park my truck down in there. I always park at the Glades truck stop if it's even still there, but it's put in there. All kinds of crazy stuff happens near the Everglades. So,
yeah. Well, I guess Florida's like one of the fastest growing states ever, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's crazy.
And it's still going, isn't it?
It is. We have the villages. You probably see it on the maps. They talk about the villages now.
I was telling somebody about it, and I said it's like a state on itself.
It is. Well, that's where there's been a big rivalry. I mean, for years back. See, there used to be a lot of ranch owners up there, or people with a lot of property up there. Farms and stuff, and they made their money. I ain't gonna quibble about that, but they're approaching. I mean, actually, Bushnell moved their city limits out farther to keep the villages from coming in here, because they're building. They're actually.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They're moving our Walmart that's in Bushnell here out to Bevel's Corner, which is about 5 miles away, and putting a Rural King in the Walmart store. But the reason they're moving the Walmart over because the villages are coming all the way down into here. I mean, I'm not kidding when I tell you, 500, 600, 700 acres. You'll see excavators and dozers, and they're just recontouring the whole ground right there, and then they'll build these huge housing additions and golf cart roadways. I mean, they actually have stop signs and red lights for the golf carts, for God's sake.
Yeah, I was telling somebody about that. I said, it's all golf. Golfing community for. I hear all kinds of weird, crazy parties they have and stuff.
Oh man, you know what?
These old people going nuts.
Hey, I don't, I don't
like
really
fun.
talk about this. Well, in this villages or whatever, there's more transmitted diseases up there. Them old people getting busy with it, supposedly, and it's the worst in the country with that. I don't know what they're having, big old parties of some kind, but I just wish, if anything else, when, you get that, you're in the South, right? Anywhere I've ever moved to or gone to, I've always kind of, do what the locals do, and enjoy the environment, enjoy whatever. as far as the way that they live. Why would you want we used to get this when we lived in Zephyr Hills all the time because Pauline run a pawn shop there, and we were good friends with somebody that owned a convenience store, and forever hearing that every year. Well, this is not the way we do it up north. And Pauline and I got to say, well, I-75, 995 run northbound, you can make it home in no time. If you want it to be like it is up north, then stay up north. If you want to come down to a new place and make a new start, why would you want to have the same problems or whatever? You know what I'm saying, Craig? I mean, generally, not everything, but generally, why would you want to change something that's already good? And that's kind of like what we are in this county. I mean, we just, everybody, there's a lot of, people own their own businesses and everything else in this county. But now we're like splitting a quarter. I mean, they're coming onto us. They'll take over. They'll probably take over our entire county in the next 10, 15 years, literally. And they're just going to build and build and build. And I don't know who's buying these houses, man. I'm serious. I mean, we're not talking cheap houses either. These are, $500,000 homes, $1 million homes, stuff like that. But, and they're like cookie cutters though. You know what I mean? I never saw a need to live in that kind of, if I want to start a, little bonfire on my property, I want to be able to do it. Or, and I've always told my neighbors too, code enforcement, they went to move everything to Dade County code enforcement, like down in Miami, but we're inland. And, you got for a while there, we had weird neighbor calling in on everybody about, oh, you didn't have a permit for this, or you didn't do that right, or whatever. And they started really hounding us out here. And I turned around, and I'm not known to keep my mouth shut too well sometimes. And Pauline tries to keep me under her thumb a little bit on that. But I turned around and looked at him and said, look, buddy, I don't care what you do to your house. Because he actually lived in the neighbor's house that just moved in. The guy used to live there. And I said, I don't care if you blow your house up, burn it down or whatever. As long as that stupid thing doesn't land on my house or my property, I could care less. I just, if you're busy minding your own business, you won't have time to mind mine. That's the way I've always done it. I don't bother nobody, and they don't bother me. And hell, we all get along pretty good. But that one guy, man, he had forestry department out here on me, and the fire department, the police, 37 times last year. Different times of the year, all hours of the day or night, and I never violated any kind of rule or any kind of code or never did anything wrong. But when you get woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning because of loud music and you don't even own a stereo system, that kind of stuff really annoyed me. I think he was from Illinois or something like that, but I couldn't get him to understand, dude, why are you're making yourself out to be the target in this neighborhood. I mean, there's rednecks that live out here. We don't play. You just leave us alone, we leave you alone. So, yeah, we have those kind of problems once in a while, but it's been kind of cooled down here in my neck of the woods, but it's coming. I mean, I could see, Pauline was just telling me, she goes, I could see us moving out of this county and moving farther up into the Panhandle or something, but I don't know if that's even going to help. It just seems like everybody's building down here. They're losing a lot of land to developments and stuff like that, but I guess it's just progress, man. You can't stop it. It's going to come to you anyway, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. That's where the terminology comes from. But, yeah, I mean, I just, where you live at, it seems pretty cool. Nobody really bothers anybody. You can, be right next door to your neighbor, and your houses are a little closer and everything. You all seem to get along pretty good up there. I don't think you've had any problems at all, have you?
No, I mean, it's just a slower way of life. It's more country, and it's a small town. It's probably the main part of the town is like 6 blocks, maybe.
Yeah,
on Main Street. But it's and then you got like maybe 4 or 5 miles of grazing land in between the next town. Mm-hmm. You see mountains all over the place and foothills and stuff. It's just totally different. It's not claustrophobic. I didn't even realize the noise and just the traffic and everything about Alexandria and Northern Virginia. It's just just too hectic. You know, once you
Pauline,
get out of it, you don't miss it at all. You know, I don't even want to go back.
well,
My brother's always going, you know, all this stuff about coming back and doing this and that.
yeah,
You know, just to eat lunch or something. And I go, yeah, go. You know, it takes an hour and a half going down there in a traffic nightmare, and that's if you're lucky, you'll get back in it. You know, then another hour and a half back.
right.
So, you know, I go up major highways. You know, well, I had a water heater put in the other day, and I asked the guy where he's, you know, from. It's because it was a Fairfax company. It said on the, it was putting it in through Home Depot.
Right.
And the guy did a great job, and only took an hour to take it, you know. But anyway, I asked him where he was from, and he said Fredericksburg, and I was like, oh my God, that's, you know, 45 minutes south of Alexandria, where I was before. So, but he cut across the state, kind of through Manassas, I guess. But so I was asking about the traffic, and it's like getting from Fredericksburg to basically Northern Virginia. It takes 4 hours both ways. I mean, you know, 4 hours in the morning and then 4 hours going back down the other way.
I've driven your roads before.
And then 95 cuts through there too.
Yeah.
I mean, 95, that's 95. And I mean, 95 is a major route. And in the summer, you got all these tourists and stuff, and people on vacation using that road to go up and down. You know, it's just a nightmare. I mean,
I know, buddy. Me and Pauline were wondering. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Well, they put in easy lanes, and you got, like, you know, this sensor on your car, and you pay. Well, it depends on how bad the traffic is on how much you pay. If the traffic is super bad, you pay even more.
Yep.
To use the easy lane, you know.
We got them down here a little bit too, yeah.
Well, now he says that at rush hour in the afternoon, when you get down to Fredericksburg, the easy lane backs up for an hour.
Yep.
Now, and it used to. Well, no, it's not Fredericksburg. Where was it? I think at Gainesville, and it used to back up at Fredericksburg, and now it's backing up at Gainesville, and that's on the easy path. So, you know,
they put that same stuff in down here on the Veterans Expressway. It's a toll road, comes out of off of I-275 right when you cross, coming from St. Pete Clearwater, coming across 275. Veterans Expressway runs all the way up north, up past where we live at. You know, on you know, it's farther over west of us, but they put those easy pass, whatever the heck you want, those lanes for, I don't know, through traffic. And that I don't even know why they bother doing it. It's like gridlock coming. You know, anybody who's ever been to Tampa or Orlando or Miami, it's a nightmare. Just like any other big town, I guess. But Craig, Alexandria, Jesus. Well, you remember when we came down there with the dually and the fifth wheel, man? I was just like, get the heck out of my. I'm coming through. I'm out there in a hammer lane. I don't even care. I'm doing 80. If you want to pass me, go ahead. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. But all them people in them other lanes. Just gridlocked.
It's either the worst traffic in the nation or the second worst, I think.
I don't know. L.A. is horrible.
There's some place that, I think L.A. kind of. I've seen that too, and
it's a mess. Yeah,
but
just so many people.
That wasn't that bad. This thing wasn't that bad a couple of years ago. It wasn't any 4 hours. It was like 2 hours. Now I don't know what's happened. That's 4 hours. It might be, people are working. There's more work.
Right.
I've seen just in this town, it's been depressed because there's a lot of blue-collar workers. And all of a sudden, I'm like the neighbor behind me got a foreman job, and then he was working weird hours. Now he's working better hours. And I could just see, like, the whole family is, they were kind of almost depressed when I met them.
It's tough, man. Yeah, raising a family.
Now they're like, hey, hey, how's it going? The woman came over and told me, oh, my husband's, doing really good. He's at this job, and it sucks when it screws with your self-esteem when you don't have
it does.
anything to work and everything.
Believe me, brother, I know what
terrible,
that's like.
But and then I know all these guys are saying there's so many driving jobs now around here because
you couldn't pay me to drive
you have
anymore.
to drive stuff between different towns.
Yeah.
There's empty space in between a lot of these towns. Which is almost like rural. But
I was just pretty.
We got these
go ahead, sir.
mega Walmarts around here.
Oh yeah.
We got these mega shopping centers where it's on both sides of the road, on all four corners, and just unbelievable.
Yeah, we only have where I live at, we have a ice cream, across the river right there. We got 2 restaurants and a ice cream shop, a Dollar General, and a Circle K. And you know what? I'm totally okay with that. If I need to get something from in town, it's 10 miles. I can deal with that. Just keep all this stuff away from me.
Up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 9 or 10 miles from Front Royal. That's where I go. I go to that one, even though the other one's closer. I just like that one. I like driving down this old country road.
Yeah.
And you see all these old houses. Some of them are, early 1800s, and
it's like our old
see
town.
mountains all over the place. Anyway, if I want to get major stuff,
yeah,
you go to Winchester, and they got huge shopping centers all over the place. They got one it's like the thing goes for half a mile. It's so big.
My mom lives down there in Wesley Chapel, right outside New Tampa, and she loves it down there. And they live in Meadow Point down there, and they have Sam's Club and Winn-Dixie, or not Winn-Dixie, but Publix and Target and Walmart and Lowe's. All these big, but you can't even. The traffic, man. It just. She was telling me, she goes, well, when I go, do you want the house? I said, no, Mom, I don't want it. Sell the thing. I won't live in a housing addition. It unnerves me because we have what we call deed restriction down here. When you live in these, housing additions, not all of them, but quite a majority of them nowadays. I can't even bring my little 8-foot trailer in there, little trailer, pull behind trailer, and park it there in my driveway. There's all these deed restrictions. You can't, you got to paint your mailbox the same. You got to paint, and you have certain colors. You got to paint your house. And
some of them, they've got, you got like certain parking spot with your number on it. And if you don't park in the right spot, you get a big fine and towed away and stuff.
Yeah.
I heard.
Well, just when you get people together, like she's blessed with, the neighbors she has, they're all, good people. They're all, about the same age or getting there. And they're all, they've raising their families. Just, they're getting older now. They're going to be graduating. Kids are going to be graduating and stuff. But, you always have that one person in the cul-de-sac that just gives you a hard time. And I don't know. My tolerance level is just going to zero. I've been the dirt poor person, and busted my butt and, and everything else trying to make money. And, you just work your butt off. And that's what a lot of the people do. You're just trying to struggle. Then you got the other ones that get, it's, what I mean about the attitude. They're looking down their nose at you, whatever. I treat everybody the same, man. I don't care if you got $1 billion or $10 in your pocket. I don't care. It depends on what kind of person you are. But unfortunately, and it seems like it's getting a little bit better. But I can remember a time where it was just downright mean to people. People are mean to each other is what I mean. I don't judge anybody anymore. I don't, they can, as long as they ain't bothering me, I don't care what they do, as long as they don't affect my family or something like that. But, we have, a lot of acquaintances and stuff. I like this area because there's a lot of mom and pop businesses or whatever. You guys own concrete companies, garbage companies, whatever. It's all family owned stuff. And it's, I get better customer service. Even the trash man's cool. You come by and, I didn't see your garbage cans out here, so I thought I'd give you a buzz and see if you forgot to bring them out. How many times has your garbage man ever done that to you, Craig? You know what I mean? Said, "Oh, you bring your garbage out to the curb for me." No, they're just going to pass you by and keep on going. But around here, we still look out for each other. And I missed that along. When I lived up in Indiana and stuff, and we had good neighbors and stuff. It's just a different down here. It's just a different in this area.
Yeah, we got really good customer service up here,
Mm-hmm.
and the people are so friendly.
Yeah.
It's just totally different. It's like you go in down into Northern Virginia, and it's almost like robots waiting on you, but they're human. It's like they don't.
Well, some people some
say,
people like the convenience.
Hey, how's it going? Or anything. They just don't care. They're just workers. But up here, it's it's more. I don't know. It's a lot more friendly. I've met so many. I've actually made 4 or 5 friends already up here, and I've been here about a year, and I know most of the neighbors now, and I don't know. It's I love the place. I wish I could have moved up here 20 years ago.
Jason's saying on here, I just got a notice about his driveway being dirty and has to pressure wash it now. Brother, I feel for you. See, but some people don't mind that kind of living. Like my sister lives up there in Boston, and she loves it up there. She has a little bit of a property, and they can have chickens and stuff like that. And she works for she's a professor at a college and all that. And some people like that. My mom loves it where she's at. She knows where everything is, and if she needs something, it's right within 2 miles of her house. And they like it. I just, for what I do and what I want to do, with my property or whatever, and I don't like the bother, man. I don't like the neighbors. I've lived in those, trailer parks and stuff like that, and it gets stupid sometimes, and they just, everybody's under, in your business kind of thing. And, my neighbor, one of the guys, I know he's down the street, but he stopped by and he's waiting at the gate. I said, "Man, why don't you come in?" He goes, "You got that badass dog there. I'm not coming in that gate. That thing will eat me up." I said, "Look, he's all right. He will just chew a little bit. He won't kill you, And he's, and bless his heart, man, this dog, he just looks, when he gets fired up, but I've never seen him try to charge somebody. He'll come within 20 foot of you and he'll stand his ground. Now, if you're stupid enough to walk up to him and try to get him, he's going to get you. But I mean, most of the time it's just, hey, stay away from the property. And that's what I wanted him to do. I didn't want a mean dog. I just wanted a dog that would make people stop in their tracks a little bit and let me know when something's there. But I said, "Man, the dog knows you. Once I've introduced you, you're good." I said, "Don't come in here at 2:00 in the morning and expect not to get eat up, because at night he's a different dog." But, he's never hurt nobody. And, I worry more about him with, not with kids, but their parents. Like, grandpa walking a little baby, little kid around, because our dog loves kids. I mean, he will lick them to death. But if he thinks that kid's in danger, oh my God, that I worry about the adults around him more than anything else. But he's always been cool. He's never given me a reason to think that he was going to be out of control, so to speak, where he wouldn't listen. That was one thing we had a problem with him. He wouldn't listen when he got something in his head to go and do. But now he's, we've kind of bonded. I've had him for about a year now, maybe a little over a year. So we're kind of, everywhere I go, that dog is, you'll hear me complain about him. I mean, you've heard it before, Craig, talking to me on the phone, and I go to turn around and the dog's right there. He's beside me all the time. I don't care where I'm walking at on this property or whatever. He is beside me and looking. And my other neighbor over here says, "Man, I hear you tell that dog stuff," and the dog does it. I said, I just tell him to watch. That dog will sit outside the entire time until I call him in the house. He'll be walking that property. He knows what to do.
Some dogs know 200 human words.
Yeah.
I've seen some really smart dogs that, they know what you're saying.
I have, more than a dozen words he knows by heart, and he follows them instantly. I mean, it just, he knows what I want him to do. But I mean, and Pauline's had to teach me.
Would it be scary if the animals started talking and back to
Oh, yeah.
Give me some food.
And this dog he plays, I don't have to exercise my dog. He's solid muscle. All he does when he goes outside, you'll go out there and he's running around the house. For no other reason, he just needs to burn off energy, I guess. And then you go to play with him and you'll throw a little stick, and he doesn't like to bring it back. around little kids, so he always run around and make them chase him. He never tried, he never let him have the stick. Well, the other day he picks up this, I don't know, I call it wristwood. It's more like about the size of your bicep. This log about 4 foot long. The dog's running across the yard with it. I'm thinking to myself, he's going to run into a tree and clothesline himself and kill himself or something, you know what I mean? Because he's running so fast. It just blows my mind that he just a hyper energy, but then he cools right out and he's totally good, the rest of the day and night. He just like takes that 1 hour's exercise routine. I can show you my grass. I mean, I had nice grass growing along the fence line. He hates the mailman. Don't know why. I mean, he doesn't mind the garbage man.
All dogs do.
Oh,
all dogs do.
They
think
he stuck his head through the fence, man.
My fox terrier.
Oh, he hates the mailman.
The mailman in the yard, but as soon as it tried to get out, that's when she went for the.
No.
We had to buy like 2 pairs of pants for them.
I had bless his heart, man. He come in. It was a FedEx driver. This has been about 6 months ago. I have no trespassing signs on my gate, and I have beware of dog all the way down my fence line, to let him know, hey, there's a dog here. Yo-Yo Brain decides he's going to come in the gate and bring my package to the door, and I have a 150-foot driveway, something like that. And he made it about a quarter of the way, and he saw that Loki come out the door, and I'd never seen a man run so fast, and he jumped over the gate. They're only 4.5 foot gates. And he goes, man, that dog was going to kill me. I said, no, the dog was coming out just to run you off. That's what he was going to do. But, the mailman is a different story. That dog will just put his head through the fence and bark and growl, but I don't think he'd ever hurt him. He just likes to show off. I think he knows that he can intimidate some people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Loki because he's loco. So, he's a good dog.
Plus, he's got superpowers like this.
Yeah, he's bear claws on him almost. It's like I don't know. He's a cowboy pit, but he just his stance, his look. He doesn't even have to growl at you. He can look at you, and you start, people start getting really nervous around him. But he's never. It's not like he's going to act on it. I mean, I'm sure if they try to do something or I don't know, break in the house, you're done. I mean, he's going to go after you. But I mean, in a normal situation, he's out there playing with the dang dogs. I saw him playing with squirrels yesterday. I mean, a break. If you're going to play with a squirrel, just running after the squirrels and they're running after him. It was funny as heck out there. He is what it is. I mean, he's not a mean dog. I've seen mean dogs that, there's a couple of them in this neighborhood that got a couple people. I don't have this. When I walk him every once in a while out here on the road and stuff. And I don't worry about it because he's tough enough. But we had an older gentleman that was walking some kind of a Weimar. I don't know, something, a brown dog, pretty big. And
yeah, I know this.
Damn neighbor's pit bull got through the fence somehow and attacked his dog. And he's a big man. He's bigger than me. And he was trying to break him up, and the dog bit him and everything else. And the law stopped by here. And I didn't even know what was going on. I said, I heard the ruckus. He goes, well, that wasn't your dog? I said, hell no, that wasn't my dog. I said, I don't know whose dog it was. It wasn't mine. And they went around the block, and it was right there. And that dog barks all the time and goes after whatever he can go after. I said, no, he wouldn't have survived my dog. I know this dog good enough to know that he ain't going to let nobody get the upper hand on him. But it's just the neighbors didn't take care of it. Didn't make sure that the gates were shut or whatever the problem was. But yeah, the old man's okay. And I went over and saw him and stuff, but he goes, yeah, I'm a little bit traumatized. He goes, got a couple of bite marks on me, but nothing real bad. His dog, I guess, got the worst end of it. And I hate that. Leash law for a reason. You just don't walk. Let your dog. That's why I put fences and gates up around my property a long time ago. I didn't want to have to deal with it. But yeah, these people, I don't know what they're going to do now. But yeah, you'll have it happen once in a while. But when you have a big dog, man, I don't care if it's. I've seen mutt dogs do meaner than like purebreds, you know what I mean? You get some of these crossbred dogs, but everybody's heavy on pit bulls and Rottweilers and German Shepherds and stuff, being mean and everything. But I think it's just the way you raise them. If you don't make them mean, you don't have to make a dog mean. You can play with a dog. Like I have the chew toys and the pull toys and stuff like that, but it's a toy. It's not like I'm enticing him to be aggressive. We're just playing. But there's some people that take it to an extreme, and that dog becomes a whole different ball of wax when he's around others. So I don't know. It's just on how you raise them, I guess. But we got way off topic, brother.
Yeah.
Figure about 9. That's about 9:30. Shoot. That yeah, they a lot of the critters and stuff out here. I don't know. Some people worry about it. Actually, a buddy from Jersey here. He Jersey boy, I should call him. He says, "Yeah, my friend told me, oh, you're going to be running into all kinds of poisonous snakes and tarantulas, and you're going to hate it." And he loves it down here. He's like, "Man, I can grow anything down here. It's great." He's buying peach trees and everything else for his property, and they're growing like weeds. That I said, "Yeah, man, there's 5 growing seasons in Florida. You only got 1 up there, maybe 2. We got 5 seasons down here where we can grow different, produce and watermelons and I don't know, okra and peppers and cucumbers, and there's a season, even greens and Swiss chard greens, all that stuff. We have all kinds of different fruits and vegetables they grow down here. Well, we got a lot of stuff here on our property. I'm actually putting a big, almost like a hydroponic garden, an outdoor one though, just to grow tomatoes and stuff like you're doing up there. But I'm not going to be planting them in the ground. I'm going to get them up off the ground because I hate getting down on the ground weeding. So, but yeah, he's having fun with it. It's a different way of living down here, but it's fun. I don't know, just hot. If you can deal with the heat, you got it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, buddy, we'll get this thing, shut it down, and we'll fire it up on Saturday night. I'll have some more, hopefully, some good information. I think this guy's wanting to geolocate some stuff. We were talking about last show about marking, some of the finds and stuff. I don't know if I want to go that extreme with it, but I think what I want to do is grid off some of that area and get like a GPS mark on it, on my phone or whatever. And then, measure out from that point, like, each square is 20 foot by 20 foot or something like that. And that way, if I find something, I can just mark it down about where it was in that spot, on a little notebook or something like that. And I can kind of go back then and mark them in on an actual overlay map kind of thing on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking about doing. I think it's important to kind of mark that in this particular location, especially. But like your property, it's easy for you because you go to a neighbor's house, you know right where it is or whatever. When it's mapped, this is a plot map. You can mark everything out on it. But out there, when you're dealing with that much acreage, I'm kind of curious where everything goes, what was out there. I know there had to have been more out there, but it'd be interesting to see. So I guess I'll kind of wrap it up for tonight, Craig. I'll let you
All right.
get some sleep so you can go hunting tomorrow. Hint, hint. Hey, buddy, if I can't hunt, you got to hunt, man. That's all there is to it. All of y'all guys got to get out there and hunt like crazy. But I see Bill on here tonight and Jason and Bob D just had to jump off there. And let's see here. I thought we had a couple more on here. Kind of quiet tonight. A lot of guys, Thursday nights are kind of weird as far as getting through and stuff, getting time to listen. But, you guys will catch up on Saturday by Saturday or whatever. But, well, yeah, we'll be talking about the Old Bridge property, and may possibly get out tomorrow a little bit out here behind me on this other acreage. I want to go down there to the pond, lake, whatever you want to call it, and I want to work my way around it to see, because there's old posts in the water. They're just barely sticking up. It used to be a dock right there, so I know there had to have been some kind of activity. And I guess, yeah, the owner over here, or the land guy's taking care of the property, he goes, "You got a gun, right?" So I carry a gun most of the time. He goes, "You'll need it. We got the coyotes and hogs have been, out here a lot, and God only knows what else." I said, "That's okay. I usually don't have much problem, but I'll carry one out here if you think it's necessary." He said, "Just for the snakes, you'll need it out there on that other property." I guess they had a bunch of water moccasins down here. He goes, "You shoot everyone you see." I'm like, "All right, whatever." These things get around bigger around than a baseball bat. The end of a baseball bat. These pretty big water moccasins out here, so we've never had a problem with them on our property, but down there by the water, I'm sure. But so yeah, I'll be armed and dangerous, Craig. I don't ever need a gun. I got a really sharp shovel, man.
Yeah, really.
A harpoon.
Chop 'em right in half.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah.
Kung Fu shovel.
Yep. Samurai warrior. I got an entrenchment shovel I'll be carrying with me too, so I know I can whack the heck out of something with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, yeah, we'll wrap it up for tonight. We're on every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and join us if you can. If you don't catch the show, just catch it on the replay. We got the little archives on there. You can download those to your cell phone, computer, whatever you want. Listen at your own convenience while you're going to work or what have you. And a lot of the other shows too, they have the same kind of setup. There's like 5 different detecting shows out there, and we all run different formats and stuff, and a lot of other shows on Spreaker.com. So check them out if you get a chance. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you on Saturday. Get out there, keep digging, and God bless.